Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games. Today I'm here with Bradley from Free Range Games, and he has graciously allowed us to see a sneak peek of one of the most exciting projects on Kickstarter right now, Labyrinth. You've no doubt seen the amazing graphics and the cool sounding gameplay. Well, now you get a sneak peek to see what gameplay is actually like. And Bradley, what we're seeing here today is not the full experience, right? This is just a little bit of what we have to look forward to.
Yeah, this is just one slice. We got one encounter for you. That's going to be three heroes trying to beat a boss named Fireheart. But it'd just be like one part of a single raid.
All right, and so let's get into that real quick. So, what do you mean by one part of a single raid? So, how exactly is this game functioning? I made my deck. I'm ready to go kick some monsters' butts. How does this work?
So you put together a party of three heroes. Each of those heroes has their own deck that you've built beforehand, and then you choose to go on a raid. You'll be picking. You'll be matched with another player, and the goal is to beat their entire dungeon to get as much loot from their dungeon as possible. But that dungeon consists of multiple fights. And like a typical, you've played the game for a while and you're being matched with players of equal skill, you're going to be fighting three fights to beat their dungeon. So it'll be three battles, three encounters, we call them, in succession. And so this would just be one of those encounters.
Okay, so I'm actually not building one deck. I'm building three decks.
You're building three decks.
Ooh, that is exciting. So before we start here, Bradley, I just have to ask you this question. How does it feel to finally bring your pride and joy into the world? It's almost like giving birth to a child, isn't it?
Well, I've never given birth to a child, so I can't really attest to that. But it is awesome. I mean, this is really kind of why myself and all the other guys I'm working with here at Free Range, why we got into games, and this is to make the kind of game that we actually want to play. And really, it was a matter of we wanted to play this game that didn't exist. It was a game that was it's a CCG that is belongs on a PC. And it's a CCG that combines itself with an RPG. So it's got this, we got the 3D gameplay, we got the cards going on, we got the tactical gameplay, and really just kind of taking that CCG concept to the next level.
Gotcha. All right, well, let's take a look at the gameplay. I've got a lot more questions, but I really want to see how this thing works. I've been dying to see this game in action. So it looks like we're going to have Corrigan. What kind of class is this guy?
So Corgan Twiceborn, he's our Blade Master. So he's kind of the tank. He anchors the fight. He's dealing a lot of melee damage. He's really good at taking out lots of small guys, but he's really going to be the center of your battle. And then your next guy here, we got Edric Falstaff. He's a thief. So he mainly is about dealing burst damage. He needs to protect himself with stealth and move into position. He might be moving in to take out other minions that come into the fight. And then the last one, we got Lavella Startouch. She's our priestess. And she supports the other guys. She helps them draw cards. She heals them as the fight goes on. And then she's got some of the best AoE in the game.
And I'm guessing these aren't the only three classes that we'll have available to us, that there is a wide variety of people you can choose from.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a fourth discipline we're not seeing here, and that's wizardry. And wizardry is all about really really big AoE spells, ranged fireballs and that kind of thing, and then also some really cool kind of subtle crowd control and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. Let's get into this game. I'm itching to see how it works.
All right. So we see here we got our mulligan screen. That's about what you would expect in any CCG. So we're going to pick a few cards here that we don't really want to start with. Don't really need healing at the beginning.
So right here from the start, we're seeing this is a card game. We have a deck. We're mulliganing. We're a card game. But now we see we're not just a card game, because I see a big cool looking monster over there.
Yeah. So we got right here what we're seeing here. This is Fireheart's lair. So this would be the first of three locations you'd fight. Now, one thing about our dungeons is we're not really calling dungeons. That's why we call them labyrinths. They're not really like a room connected to a room. One of the things about the game is that you're going to be visiting all these different places. You travel through these portals to go from place to place. So our environments really they run the full gamut of the kinds of places you would see in a fantasy world. And here he's hanging out in his caldera of lava, and he's just wanting to smash anybody who comes in.
Very nice. So I can only assume that once I beat this Fireheart guy, I get like 100 million credits or something. Is that how it works?
No, not 100 million.
Oh, come on. He looks so mean. How could I ever beat him? So looking at him, it looks like he has probably 45 hit points going on over there on the right.
Yeah.
Your other guys have 16, 14, and 21. Is that correct?
Yes. So we got hit points. Then we've also every character's got armor, or all the heroes and bosses, I should say, have armor.
Okay.
Not all of them do.
And then what's the zero mean? Is that their attack?
That's the zero is actually their timer.
Timer? What? Wait. What do you mean timer?
Timer. Oh yes. So before I get into timer, actually, I really quickly want to say one thing about this is everything here is a work in progress. So I kind of need to add the disclaimer that some of the things you're seeing in the interface, the art for the interface itself, there's a lot of missing. There's some missing card art and things like that. It's all a work in progress, and the balance for the game is something too that we're working on.
Gotcha.
But timer. So one thing that really distinguishes this game from other CCGs is that our resource system. Our time is your resource. So you see each of the characters here, they've all got a zero. That means that right now they can all act on this turn. But you see the numbers on the cards, you see that's actually a little stopwatch. That's the number of ticks, or the number of turns that card costs. So if I was to play this Fury Strike right now, he'd be waiting 11 turns before he's able to do anything. Now, obviously, that seems kind of crazy, but the way that the card works is it gets cheaper the more Fury he has. So I'll get into Fury in a second. But you look at some of these other ones. He's got this basic attack here. If I play his Ghost Bite, that's his sword swing, then that only adds 3 ticks to his clock. So basically, he'll be able to act in another 3 turns. And you can see up at the top here, as I mouse over these, that you got all the portraits. That's all the characters. That's basically the queue that the characters will be acting in, the order that they'll be acting in. So you can see my 3 heroes are currently all green. That means that they can act right now. But you can, if I mouse over the Ghost Bite, you can see now, and he's got a little 3 underneath. That means that that's the next time he's going to be able to act.
Gotcha.
So the thing is, he's a melee character, so there's nothing he can really do here with this turn. Go ahead and pass.
Can he just Ghost Strike the air?
The Ghost Bite needs a target. So
Oh,
you
okay.
can't play it for that reason.
So I have a question for you. What made you think that, hey, we don't need to do one of the 2 established systems, either the Magic model, sort of the old school model, or what many consider the new school model of the Hearthstone model, of just you're ramping up, this is what you're going to do. This seems like there's a lot more strategy and depth to this type of resource system. Is that what you were going for here?
Yeah, absolutely. And we were also going for something that really felt more like an RPG, in that it kind of feels more like a cooldown system that you would experience, in a game like World of Warcraft. And then the other thing is it really does some really good things for us with just the flow of getting cards in and out of the hand. That we're not just relying on cards being drawn, once per turn, and then mana being growing once per turn, but that right away you can think about, well, I can use my most powerful ability right away, but I'm gonna have to wait before I can do the next thing. So it really gets you thinking about what you can do on every turn.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you could try to build some sort of crazy combo deck that's like either win turn 1 or I'm down for 10 turns while Flameheart has his way with me.
Absolutely. Now the defense also works on the same system. So you'll see in a moment here when I'm done with my turn, which I will be. Let's see. I'm going to get a shot off. So we're actually going to play shotgun here.
Shoot him. Shoot that Flameheart.
Shoot him. So in a moment here, it'll come up. Now, shotgun, I get a choice here. I could discard a card and deal damage to multiple guys, but there's no multiple guys. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot just the one target.
Gotcha. I really like cards with multiple effects. I feel like they add another level of strategy to games. Is that something that you guys are implementing quite a bit?
Yeah. Let's get in here. Now, Lavella, she's going to use Fill with Zeal. And this is actually, speaking of block here, so this actually will reduce the Blade Master's clock by 1. So he'll act a little bit faster now.
Interesting.
That's one of the things that she can do. She can help to kind of manipulate all the resources to support the other characters.
Okay.
So this is now, Flameheart's going to go ahead and take his turn.
How dare he?
So he summoned. Yeah, bad luck for me. He just summoned
Whoa.
a fire golem. He hits really hard. So you can see he's got 10 attack and 5 health. It's pretty easy to take out. In fact, I'm going to do it right now.
Wow.
But I took 10 damage before that happened.
Oh my. Who took the damage? Was that your tank?
That was my thief here.
Your thief. Uh-oh. You better heal him up. Whoa. What was that?
Oh, yeah. So we're, one thing is we really tuned this fight to be pretty hard, a pretty big challenge.
I'm seeing that. Fireheart is kicking your butt. I don't know if you see this.
All right. So one thing I got to do here with my other, I need to back them off a little bit so that I can let the Blade Master take the brunt here. Okay.
So if he's the only guy in range, he's the guy that Fireheart will attack. Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Okay. And do some bosses have ranged attacks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, we'll run the full gamut on the kinds of things that bosses do. So some bosses might teleport around and only attack your guy. Some guys, like Fireheart, he's sort of a big, slow guy, and he just hits the nearest guy. One of the bosses, he doesn't even move.
Oh, wow.
He's just got this huge attack that hits the whole board. That you got to get up in his face to take him out.
Very interesting.
So I'm going to go ahead and do a little damage and heal at the same time. So one thing you can see here with the priestess, so she's got this extra resource called devotion. It's this yellow bar down here, and that's a resource that just the faith characters have, and they can use it to basically boost certain spells. There are a lot of spells that say do this, but if you spend some devotion, do this as well, or do this instead. And that's kind of one of her things. She's got this finite resource that she starts the battle with, and she chooses to spend it to when it really matters most.
Gotcha. And so that's the opposite of the tank who's gaining fury. She's losing her devotion?
Yes, exactly. Okay. So the tank, he gains fury as he takes damage. All right. First, I'm going to set up a little dodge here. And then, let's see.
All right. So while we're playing this, I have probably the most important question that everyone wants to know. Is this game free to play? Every game is supposedly free to play. How free to play or not free to play is your game going to be?
This game is really free to play. In that, when you start the game, you'll get a few heroes for free. You'll get the cards that go in those heroes' basic decks for free. And then as you play the game, you'll be earning stardust that you'll be able to spend to get cards. All the cards are available. There's nothing locked behind a paywall. It's just a matter of playing the game, having fun, and earning the stuff, growing your collection over time.
Okay. Well, since you have to play the game to have fun to earn your collection, are you going to do the typical, well, you can only play twice today, but we'll see you back tomorrow?
No, we don't have any plans for getting how much you can play over time.
Ooh.
Now, the one caveat I have to say is as we're tuning the raids, we may find that we need to add a little bit of a cost for you to raid another guy again, for instance. Like if you were beaten by a guy and you're like, I want to take my revenge and get in there and beat him, that might have a little bit of a cost, but other than that, we don't really have any plans. If you want to play the game for 10 hours straight, we love you.
Okay, are you guys planning to have alternate revenue streams with like cool new looks that you can give people? Like for instance, I kind of want my tank to have like a cool mask on or maybe a Santa hat. Is that in my future?
That may be in the future with a future expansion. It's not part of our core release plans, but one of the things that obviously, like you're saying, having new skins for the character. In our Kickstarter campaign, we have one of the rewards that we're offering, actually a couple of rewards that we're offering are unique skins. So we are planning on doing that. We're not going to do a whole lot of it at the very beginning, but because we'd rather, spend the resources to build a whole new character, a whole new card with gameplay that goes with it. But we understand that that's something that people are really going to want. So we are planning on doing that.
Okay, well that sounds good. Always a question of how are you going to spend the resources? I'm assuming that you guys don't have 70 people working on this project.
No, we got a team of about 20 people right now.
It's actually a pretty big team. Interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of free to play and how much the game's going to cost, how much do you guys envision packs costing?
Packs are going to cost about $1.50 each.
Okay.
Again, this is something that it might change as we move forward, but we're planning on that being the price.
Okay, so about $1.50 each, and getting what, 8 to 10 cards, one really high rarity card kind of situation?
It'll be $1.50 for 5 cards.
Okay.
One of those is guaranteed to be rare.
So, getting away from important questions, I've noticed, Bradley, we're almost dead.
Yes. We've tuned this fight to be pretty hard, and I got hit with a couple hard-hitting things like right in a row. So I'm going into damage control here.
Okay. I mean, are you sure I just haven't distracted you too much? You're okay.
Well, there's a bit of that. There's a bit of that. I think if I was putting all my juices into the best play. Ooh, we got cripple here. This might do it.
Oh, nice.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about Fury. So the Blade Master, he's a warfare character. And warfare characters, like I mentioned before, they gain Fury as they take damage. So he's all Furied up. He's got 10, which is actually the maximum.
Ooh, I see that.
It's time for me to spend a little bit of Fury here. So I got 2 Fury strikes. They only cost 1 tick to play, and they spend all my Fury. Or I could. The cripple kind of does the same thing in a different way. So Fury Strike is gonna be what I'm gonna do here.
And that's the card that was gonna cost us 11 before, right?
Yeah, but now it only costs 1. So, and now, let's see.
Fireheart, take that.
Yeah, take that. Now the thief is gonna do one of his little fancy moves here.
Ooh.
Stick and move. He's gonna poke him, and then he's gonna take a jump back and gain stealth, so he can't be hurt now. And the Blade Master, he's going to get in the way between those two.
He looks like he's going to die, though. You okay with that?
Well, he's got 2 armor and he's got 6 health. He might be able to live through another turn.
Okay.
I don't have, he's got a couple of his own healing spells.
Seems to me like you just hit him with all your spells, and then if he doesn't get to move again, then he doesn't.
Yeah, we're kind of crossing our fingers right now.
Okay.
Oh. Priestess goes down.
Oh, that's not, I thought he was safe, or she was safe.
Well, it was a ranged attack from the Netherstalker.
No.
So actually, this is kind of good news. He summoned an Ice Golem on his side, but it's going to take a couple turns for that guy to get into combat range. So
that guy's way over there.
So in the meantime...
Another thing is, I like how much you can scroll around the screen. It looks like you can pretty much have whatever view you're comfortable with.
Yeah, again, that was one of the things we really wanted to do to get you. You can get it from every angle, but we wanted to create an immersive environment. This isn't just chess, right? This is something we want you to feel like you're actually on this adventure.
Yeah, there have been a number of games that are put on sort of these 3-dimensional boards, but it just feels like you said, like they're just different looking chess pieces. Whereas this feels much more like you're actually in a game, in a world.
Yes.
So I gotta say, I do love these raids. This looks really cool. But I have a problem. Okay, Bradley, I have this problem. I have to be able to use my cards to crush other people. That's how I get joy in my life. Will this be a possibility for me in Labyrinth?
Yes. So looking ahead, one of the first modes that we want to add to this game is a head-to-head synchronous PvP. So right now, this mode where you're raiding other dungeons, this is asynchronous. The dungeon deck is playing itself, and the defender has set it up to defend itself. But in a synchronous mode, you go into an arena, you've got your 3 heroes, they've got their 3 heroes, and you're going head to head, and it's much more like a traditional kind of CCG. That's something that we are definitely looking to add to the game. During next year. It's going to be one of our first features that we would add.
Wow, so we have really a combination of a PvE game and a PvP game in one box.
Yes, absolutely.
Ooh, that is enticing.
I'm actually going to do it here.
You're going to get him?
Yeah, it came down to the wire, but he's
wow.
going to get in the last bit of damage.
I got to tell you, Bradley, I was rooting for Fireheart. He looks so amazing, I just wanted to see him own you. But congratulations for killing him.
I feel good.
Will the PvE stuff be fleshed out more? Like, will we see guilds and chat and ways to share our gear with our fellow friends? What do you guys envision for this?
We've got all kinds of things that we want to add to the game as we expand to it. So everything that you mentioned, that's on the list of stuff that we want to do. We want guilds where you're teaming up with your friends. You've got collective defense. You've got a dungeon that you've all contributed to, and you're all collectively defending.
Go
ahead.
That sounds really interesting. So there's going to be not just an individual guild, but maybe an individual dungeon, but a guild dungeon as well.
Yeah, and then with like guild on guild raids, so you have
Ooh,
two guilds that go up head to head against each other.
wow, that sounds great. Um, so we've defeated Fireheart, and I'm really happy about that. But I have one more question for you. It seems like you guys have a bunch of partners now. So you're working with Stoneblade, the creator of Soulforge, and you're now partnered with Skybound. What are these partners adding to you guys, and what are they adding for us, the consumer? Why should we be so excited to see you guys partnering up with such experienced people?
Well, one of the things is, we met the guys at Stoneblade about a year ago and just found there was a really natural partnership. They had so much experience, even before just Soulforge and then Ascension before that. They got a lot of experience making these kind of games. So it was a really good fit for us, to really leverage that and make the game as absolutely as fun as possible. And then with Skybound, it's a matter of reach, right? They've got access to a lot of people. They have the tools to get this game in front of a lot of people, and they're really excited about it. We're all really happy to be working together.
Gotcha. So, I mean, that's good news for us as well, right? Like, if a big company like Skybound sees this game and says, we want to work with you, that's really exciting.
Yeah, they were pumped. I mean, I think the phrase was, they're like, this is a game that has to exist. So
Nice.
they're all a bunch of big nerds there too. They played a lot of D&D and they played Magic, as they're growing up, and they really wanted to see something that combines those two ideas.
So, if this were the full game, we've defeated Fireheart, what would happen next for us?
Okay, so what you'd see here, where you get a victory screen where it come up, you'd get the loot from this particular fight, and you'd have the option. Do you want to go deeper into the labyrinth, or do you want to retire with the loot that you've gotten so far? Well, I took kind of a pounding in that fight. I lost the priestess. My last two guys, they're down to 2 and 5 health. It'd probably be a bad idea for me to go any deeper in this case. Now, if I chose to do that, I'd get healed a little bit. I get to rest my party up and then immediately go into the next fight. But it's probably still not a very good idea to go in with a bunch of guys that only have like a third health. So,
But Bradley,
I'd
you
retire
have
my loot, and then,
you have cojones of steel, so you would do it, wouldn't you? You would keep going.
you never know. You never know. The next fight, it might be a guy made of tissue paper.
Wow, that's amazing. I can't wait to fight that guy. And speaking of loot, what kind of loot do you get? Do you get cards? Do you get resources to buy cards? What kind of loot do you get?
Now, there are a number of things that we're planning, but the main resource that you get, the main loot you get, is Stardust. And Stardust is our core resource. It's our core currency in the game. So you would use that to buy new cards. You would use that to craft new cards, or buy new packs, I should say. Craft new cards to level your heroes up, to level your labyrinth up. And hero and labyrinth levels go up, and it unlocks new abilities. It makes your labyrinth bigger. It unlocks cards for your hero. So there's all kinds of stuff that you can do with that loot.
Wow. Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot of depth here. It's not just simply cracking packs, assembling a deck, and rocking against the face of your opponent. But there's a lot more happening here. All these things you can level up, different ways. I imagine there's all kinds of strategies and metaing against, like, okay, the top players seem to be having this sort of defense. Ergo, I'm going to shift gears and go with this attack that I think beats this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really important that we want to have, a robust metagame, and that you make those kind of choices.
Yeah, this seems really interesting because it's in other games like this I've played where it's a PvE environment. It's a little harder sometimes to get these robust metagames, but it seems like there's a lot going on here where you will be able to find a way to have these robust metagames where people are constantly changing their defenses, and then you have to change your offense to be able to work against it. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope so.
All right, well, we have about 8 days left on this Kickstarter, so anyone out there, this is your chance not just to help out a company, but in my opinion, to get in on the ground floor of something that looks really cool. I know I'm Kickstarting myself. I'm still trying to sort out exactly how much I can come up with, but so hopefully you'll find that this is something you want to support, because I want to see you playing against me in Labyrinth, and I want to go in your Labyrinth, and I want to take all your loot, people out there. So thanks so much, Bradley, for stopping by. It was really great to see this game in action. I know I'd seen some stills of it, a little bit of video, and I was really excited to see it in action.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having us, Kevin. Always love talking about the game. Love sharing it with people. Really love it if people come down to the Kickstarter and help us out. Give us your support.
All right, I'll see you next time on Tiny Grimes Games.